Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing really well. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do a lot of career and personal finance related videos here on this channel. So if that's something of interest to you, then please do subscribe to my channel down below and be sure to follow me over on my Instagram page as well. It's just Success by Sanjna. Now, if you are also new and you're not entirely sure, but I do actually have a website where I offer one-on-one career coaching. So if that's something of interest to you and you want to discuss more about interview tips and you need help with your cover letter, then be sure to head to my website, successbysanjna.com. Now, as you can tell by the title of today's video, I'm very excited to do this video and share with you some of the life admin that we should get sorted before the age of 30. Now, I just want to put this disclaimer out there that this is all not necessary and this is not financial advice as well. So this is personally just what I think. So if you are a young professional, if you are in your mid-20s, you may want to have a look at these and just make sure you are on top of these life admin tasks, and so that you aren't left scrambling and in a position where you are having to, pay a little bit more money to get the same sort of job done compared to you having, sorted out your life admin, your expenses, everything like that. So if you are interested, then please keep watching. Now, first one that I want to start off with is to consolidate your superannuation, your retirement fund, or your 401k. Now, personally for me, I know that when I had started working in the corporate world, I had multiple superannuation accounts because each employer would have their own super that they would want you to set up with. So at a point in time when I was young, I actually had 4 superannuation accounts. And what I quickly realized that I was having to pay a lot of fees on these accounts. And that made me realize that why don't I actually consolidate? I think, it's really not worth it having to pay a lot of fees on multiple different accounts, whereas you can just have one account. So I personally suggest, if you can, then definitely look at consolidating your super. If you do live in Australia, then I do actually have a website where you can do that. It's just MyGov. You are able to transfer all of your super accounts into one, but just be mindful that you may lose out on any insurance that you've got that's been linked up to your superannuation or any benefits as well. So be sure to look into that first before you do make those changes. Now, just very quickly, I wanted to go through some of the statistics around superannuation accounts here in Australia and what the ATO has found. So essentially, we have about 74% of individuals who have one account, which is honestly amazing. It's more than half of the population. In fact, it's 3/4 of the population, which is amazing. Now, we do have 20% of people who do have about 2 accounts and then 5% for 3 accounts. So as we can see a trend from 2017 to 2020 that people have actually been consolidating their super. So starting off with 24%, 23, and as of last year, it was 20%. So it's definitely looking good. Now, the next point that I want to mention is health insurance. Now, I personally didn't believe in health insurance until last year, where I was convinced by my friends to get onto the health insurance bandwagon, and they were essentially saying that you should actually set your insurance up as soon as possible or at least before 30, because obviously after 30 you do have higher premiums. Now, with health insurance, I definitely see the benefits associated with it. We don't know what's going to happen. Day-to-day lives are busy. We're always working. We're out and about, and you just can never take a chance. So I definitely believe in having good health insurance. The one that I personally have is with Bupa. This is not sponsored at all, but I have the second highest tier. I've got hospital cover. I do have a lot of extras as well, just because I like taking care of, my eyesight, dentistry. I like doing some physio and remedial massages as well. So I do make sure that I choose the extras that suit me. So you can definitely do the same as well and find what works for you. Now, if you choose to not have health insurance, then the government may make you pay a Medicare levy. There is a threshold that is in play that charges you about 2% of your taxable income, but be sure to head to the ATO website to find out. There is actually a calculator available online as well, which you can put in your taxable income, and it will let you know how much you actually owe. So just weigh up between whether you're okay paying the Medicare levy, or do you rather have that money towards your health insurance where you've actually got benefits for yourself. Now, just quickly, a little bit about the premiums that increase after the age of 30. So what people generally refer to when they say that premiums are going to increase after 30 is they refer refer to something called the Lifetime Health Cover Loading, which is a government initiative, which means that if you take out hospital cover for the first time after you turn 31, you'll have to pay an extra 2% on your premiums for every year you waited. So, for example, if you take out insurance at the age of 41, your premium will be 20% higher than a 31-year-old on the same policy. And that is what we call the extra charge, the LHS loading, which is the Lifetime Health Cover Loading. So this is just a gentle reminder for you to have a look into your health insurance. And if you haven't already got a health insurance cover which you pay for, then I would recommend looking into that. The next life admin that I would personally get off my to-do list is to consolidate bank accounts as well. Now, a lot of us have multiple transaction accounts, multiple savings accounts, and even multiple gold saver or term deposit accounts as well. And this may be something that actually works for you, but for a lot of people, they've actually forgotten about these other accounts that they have actually opened up, and they may have opened up because they've received maybe a cashback or a deal, and after they've received that deal, they've forgotten to close these accounts. Now, this is again just a gentle reminder to look into those accounts that you've got, and not only that, but try and find accounts or savings accounts which are actually providing you with a higher interest rate. Now, I know I've mentioned that interest rates are very low at the moment, and it's essentially no point in you putting your money away into a bank. But if you are saving for, a down payment on a house or an investment property, then you will have to have that money sitting in a bank account if you are looking at accumulating those funds. So what you can do, if you are within the ages of 18 and 29 years old, there is an account out there called Westpac Life for people within that age bracket who are able to get a higher interest rate with Westpac. You can actually get up to 2.5% on that savings account. So that's just something to look into. If you are earning an interest below that, and if you are within 18 to 29 years old, then definitely look into this account. The next point that I want to mention is about credit cards and lowering your credit limit. Now, let me tell you a story. So when I went to apply for my first investment property, I had a credit card which I was only using to build my credit score and my credit history, and I actually didn't realize at the time, but my credit limit was at $11,000. And let me tell you, if your credit limit is high, it's going to be harder for you to get a loan, and it is going to impact your serviceability. So what I ended up doing was, because I never used to actually spend $11,000 a month, I reduced that down to $2,000, and that significantly increased my borrowing capacity, and I was actually able to get a higher loan once I did actually do this. So just a reminder, if you do want to increase your borrowing capacity and your credit limit is very high on your credit card, then you can perhaps look at lowering this to help you get over the line. Now, I generally look at cards that actually have, a potential cashback system that, if you do sign up, you get something in return. I like having credit cards that have a point system attached to them. So some of the credit cards that I personally have that I can see online are just the Westpac Loan Credit Card, and they're giving a cashback of about $400 when you spend $4K on eligible purchases within the first 4 months of your card approval. There is 0 annual fee for the first year as well. Another one is also with Westpac. So you do have your low fee credit cards, and you are able to get a offer of about $100 cashback, but you can definitely look into the terms and conditions there. I feel like there are a lot of perks associated with, American Express credit cards with the points, and it's definitely something you can look into, because having these points racked up can essentially pay for your travel, pay for, flight tickets and hotels as well. So definitely look into that. The next point that I want to mention that I think is definitely very helpful is check up on your credit score. Now, I personally check up on my credit score every so often to see how I'm actually going, and I am currently in the excellent range, which is in the green range, and it's a score that is above 800 points, and this generally tells you how you're placed in terms of, your payments, whether you've missed out on any bills, etc. And your credit score is very important for when you are going to apply for a bank. It tells them how your borrowing habits are, your spending habits, and how your financial situation is actually placed. So you can actually go on to Equifax to check out your credit score there, or even Credit Savvy as well, are just a few options. Now, the next point that I want to mention, and I've mentioned this many times on my channel, and that is budgeting. I think budgeting is very important for you to become transparent with your expenses and see what you actually have been spending your money on. I think is a great way for you to manually do your budgeting at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month and really see and understand, what things you're actually spending on, where can you save, and where you can, invest as well. And I think this is very important, especially if you are looking to, start investing as well. So I do have a budget template which is available free to download if you do wish. It's just going to be in the description box down below if you do want to download my budget template. The next thing that I would suggest is to set up direct debit payments. This works for some people and this doesn't work for others. Personally, it works for me, and I feel like this just helps me to always stay on top of my bills so that I'm not incurring any interest, any fees, any late fees as well, or overdue payments. I just feel like this is a great way for me to keep on top of my expenses, but this obviously does mean that you have to have money in your account as well. You cannot have a direct debit coming out of account that doesn't have any money, otherwise you'll get charged a dishonor fee for that as well. And the next point that I want to mention is to look into updating your phone plans and your Wi-Fi plans as well. Make sure you are getting the best return on your money and you are getting the most out of your buck as well. I think it's very important to keep updating and keep having a look around as to what plans and what deals are out there. For me, I am still waiting on my 1 year for my iPhone contract to end so that I can go on to a post-paid SIM, and that will mean that my bill will essentially reduce by $60, which I think is incredible, and it gives me 100 gig of data. And the company that I'm looking at getting my next SIM is from Circles Life. I will have a link down in the description box down below in case you are interested in checking that out. And finally, I think this is one thing that we're all very guilty of, and that is not checking what subscriptions we actually have. Now, I know personally for me, I've got a Spotify subscription, I've got Netflix, I've got other random subscriptions which I didn't actually know I had. So for me, I think it's very important to stay on top of these subscriptions so that you aren't, getting billed monthly, because that's very annoying. Sometimes these subscriptions can be very costly as well. So definitely recommend you look into that if you do have multiple subscriptions. Okay guys, so that's everything that I wanted to share with you today. You can treat this video like a little bit of a to-do list, a checklist to tick these things off so that you can get your life admin in order. Of course, none of these are, mandatory. It's just some suggestions. It's what I've personally done to keep my life a little bit in order. So if you guys found this video helpful, useful, I would love if you guys can click the like button and do subscribe to my channel down below as well, and leave me a comment down below for a life hack or a life admin hack that you'd like to suggest. I would love to hear it. But that's it guys. I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks guys.